If you're betting on my next guest when it comes to finding a good bet, you got to bet the under here because my man, Youssef Zalal, getting another first-round finish, this time taking out Jarno Errens, UFC Fight Night back on August 10th. Youssef Zalal back here on the program. Youssef, how's it going, man?
I'm pretty good, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Could have done that intro a little bit better. I had it in my head and it just didn't come out the way I wanted it, but it's all good, man. But I'll start there, though. Seriously, like another first-round finish, another submission victory, I should say. Could that fight have gone any better?
Not really, but I wish I let my hands go a little bit more. But hey, it's part of the game, but it's part of the fight, and I'm happy with the performance. And sometimes, I feel like we don't appreciate the wins, and they're hard to come by sometimes. Especially where I was at. So I'm very happy about it.
I know you and Coach Mark Montoya, you guys always come up with really good game plans. You study your opponents. Did you know that he had not been submitted in like 5 years? So that was a pretty big victory to be able to go out there and take him out that way.
No, I did not know that. I did not know he didn't get submitted in the last 5 years. But all I know was that in the ground, I had a lot more advantage for sure, 100%. So going into that fight, we knew we had an advantage on the ground no matter what. So obviously the fight, you had to get it to the ground to even have an advantage. So that was the kind of the puzzle that we had to solve a little bit before we get in there. But when I actually felt there and timed it right, and I was like, okay, I knew I had a chance in that one. But I think his reaction was, which is crazy to us, was in his fights, when he gets taken down, he stays on his back. He's never try to scramble up and give his back. What I think is he felt like he was winning on the feet. So he's kind of just go that. And I was like, oh, thank you. Give me the back. And that was my favorite thing. The back take is my favorite thing in the world, to be honest.
Yeah. And it worked out great for you. So how do you celebrate after a win like that? Again, back-to-back submission victories.
I got to get my little gold chocolates, little Ferrero Rochers. Those are the ones that I get.
Really? I never knew that. That's cool. I usually have those around Christmas time, but yeah.
Nah, bro, I do that. I've been doing that for 22 fights right now. All my professional career, I go right after that fight. Every fight, I go get the celebration cookies. I have them with me, so I bring them with me to Vegas, so I can have I like to be prepared on that part and just enjoy some family and food, man. I get to eat whatever I want, do whatever I want. So I'm very happy about that.
That's good. So these are Ferrero Rocher cookies, because I know the chocolates. That's what I knew.
The chocolate. It's the chocolate.
Oh, the chocolate. Okay, I thought you said cookies. But where did this come from? What's the story behind that? You just always liked them, or?
So I always loved them, and then I was after the fights, and I was I always look for something sweet. I always looked for something sweet. I remember when I fought my UFC debut as well. I went to the green room and I was just looking for chocolate cookies or something, and I always had something sweet wanted to get. So I was so the tradition was after my first fight, I was just started eating them, and I was yeah, this is gonna be my tradition right here. I'm gonna do it after every fight, and I did it after every fight.
Ferrero Rocher, if you're watching, you got yourself a sponsorship. I think we got to hook you up. That's got to be in your next contract. It's Ferrero Rocher, musicians have what's it called? A thing where they have everything in their dressing room ahead of time. I think they should do that after your fights. You got to talk to your management about that and get that all sorted out.
They got some crazy stuff too. So, oh my God, they come out with chocolate cookies and everything. So, yeah, man, I'll be living in heaven.
You got a bonus. What are you going to be doing with the money?
Saving it and pay your taxes. That is the number one thing. That's my advice to everybody, and that's what I will be doing. Is saving it, investing it, and then obviously pay my taxes.
Yeah, it sucks. Most people know this, but obviously, whatever money you get, you got to leave a little bit at the end for Uncle Sam, as they say, or the government, right? So that's never good.
Uncle Sam always gets his share.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I understand it. Is that something you talk to your coaches and management about, or do you manage your money sort of on your own? Because I know obviously Jason has a very good business sense, your manager. And I know he is involved with some investments as well.
No, I do everything on my own. I have actually Josh Cavan. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's my financial advisor. So he's kind of the one I talk to and really get everything going, and okay, I want to invest this, I want to do that, and then he kind of steers me in a good direction. And obviously the rest is all me, and kind of, I don't want to say all me. Obviously I learned from a lot of people, and I got advice from a lot of people, so that's where planning on going.
Is that what Josh is doing now? I imagine he stopped fighting. I haven't heard much from him in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's been done fighting obviously for a minute now, but obviously he has 2 kids and a family. I think he just bought a new house, so he just moved into a new house, and obviously he works for Northern Mutual,
Okay.
something like that. The company, the big company, but that's what he works for.
When do you want to get back in there? I know you like keeping active. Your first fight back obviously was a bit of short notice. This one, you had plenty of notice. I imagine you want to get one more in this year, or what's sort of the plan going forward?
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely want one more this year, like towards the end, right? November, December. I really don't care. It's like I just want to like get like some higher like name or a number. Who cares? I really don't matter to me. But I just kind of want to keep this momentum going. I feel like I proved that I deserve to be back. I feel like I proved that to everybody and myself, obviously. But now it's like, okay, like what can you do more of? You know what I mean? It's like now I want to like be that guy. So to be that guy, obviously I have to go perform and stay active as well. You can't be just, oh yeah, they don't remember you after only your last fight. So
now there's 2 cards that are coming up that I think could fit maybe what you want to do, although you said you want to go maybe closer to winter, but there's that card in Utah, UFC 307, that's pretty close to Colorado, but there's obviously Abu Dhabi, the Middle East, for 308, which obviously has the title fight in your division there as well. Is there like a preference if you can choose, or are you looking at even another card on top of that?
Oh man, you literally spoke what was in my mind. I literally was talking to my manager about it. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I was like, hold on, they have a Utah card? And I was like, they were like, yeah. I was like, well, Utah is the same high altitude pretty much as Denver. So I was like, that's perfect. Like we've been training for that. And it's only like a 5-hour, what is this? I don't even know how far is it from here driving, but obviously I'll fly. But I was like, yeah, I would love to fight in a crowd and in a big Utah. And then obviously Abu Dhabi, I got a little revenge taste. I got to get out of that Abu Dhabi for me, which is Ilya. That's when I fought Ilya and I lost against Ilya. So that would be amazing to do in front of my people and in front of everybody. Oh my God. Yeah, I would definitely be ready for that opportunity.
Any opponents in mind? It's got to be ranked. I think we all agree here, and this isn't even just me saying it, but you finished 2 opponents very like impressively. Like that's usually what gets you that ranked opponent. I have a name in mind, but I'm curious to hear who you're looking at next.
I'm curious to hear your name so I can see if I have him in mind.
So you mentioned at the top of this interview you wanted to show a bit more of your striking. We've seen the submission game as well. I don't think it gets much better than Edson Barbosa. Is that a fight that would interest you? He's ranked.
Oh yeah, Edson Barbosa. That'll be a good fight. Really good striker. So that's gonna be, yeah. Obviously, that was one of the names I called out. I was like, hey, give me Barbosa. I know Josh Emmett is done until next year, so he can't even be fighting. So
is that why? I didn't know that. Yeah, because I've always people have been asking me like, what's next for Emmett, and then I didn't know he was out, so that makes sense.
That's what I heard. That's what I got told. So I don't know.
No. Don't worry. No one's gonna put like breaking news. Josh Emmett out per Youssef Zalal. That's all good. Yeah.
I really don't care if they do.
Yeah. But I see a lot of the news cycle doing that. Like if a fighter says something, they're like, it's official, and it's like fighters hear stuff. Not everything's 100%. So I just
so like all I got heard was like, yeah, he's hurt. I think
that makes
had like
sense.
a surgery or something, so he's out till next year. I was like, well, he's the only one that's not active in that ranking, so I was like, I'll go fight him, and I know he needs an opponent. The other one was Caceres was one of them, and then I know Dan Ige, but Dan Ige got a fight.
Yeah, Lerone Murphy.
Yeah, and then who else was it?
There's Bryce Mitchell too. He's ranked and doesn't have an opponent.
Yeah, Bryce Mitchell, or the other one was Nate the Train.
Yeah, that would be fun. The only thing with Nate is he's not ranked, but that's a fan favorite. That's like guaranteed fight of the night, right? So,
but he's high up there though. I think he's because obviously coming out of great performances. I think his last 5 fights he got all bonuses. His last
he did. Yeah.
So which is crazy. So I was like, yeah, if I go out there and really go finish him and then really make a statement out of it, I mean, like, what's next after that? You know what I mean? You're definitely guaranteed ranking after that.
Yeah, and you'd have some good insight. You train with David Onama, who fought him, obviously, right? So
exactly, yeah. And then they fought. What's his name? He fought ranking guys as well. Like exactly.
He fought Ige. Yeah. He fought Ige. He was ranked.
Billy fought Barbosa, then fought Damien, then fought me.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's like kind of like the whole circle working perfect. So I was like, I don't know. And obviously, the matchmaker is the one who's going to decide what he thinks is the best idea. But I'm ready for all those guys, man. I'm ready for anybody in that division. Like I said, I'm on a mission and I'm ready to change my life.
So I mentioned the Abu Dhabi card, and we also talked about your fight with Ilia Topuria. Who do you think wins that main event now that it's official with Topuria and Holloway? Which way are you leaning in that title fight?
Bro, I know people a lot of people are hating me on this decision, but I love Max Holloway. Max
Mhm.
Holloway, like I been watching him for a long time. I'm a huge fan. I love his style. I do some of the fighting similar to him, but
Yeah.
I was like, for me, I just think Ilya brings a lot of bad how you say it
Intentions.
style matchup. Yeah, style matchup to Max Holloway's style. So, and I think he's obviously Max is a lot. He's durable, but he's hittable as well. So
Mhm.
I feel like Ilya, you don't want to be hittable with Ilya. I don't think that will go well. So I'm going with Ilya on that fight.
Do you think he knocks him out? Because that's the one thing with Holloway, and I think a lot of Hawaiians, they're tough to knock out. He's never been knocked out before. He's been submitted, but never been knocked out.
I think I saw like a meme or something. They're like, okay, the next stage, the last level is to knock out Max and Vittori. I was like, yeah, good luck with
Mhm.
that. Good luck doing that for these guys. But I
Yeah.
don't know, man. I can see it happening because I don't know. I don't know if you see Cheeto just got dropped for the first time
Yeah.
against Figueiredo.
It's
So I
true.
was
Yeah.
like, this year it's been a weird little changes in this year. So I can see him dropping him. I can see him dropping him.
Got to ask you about a couple other fights here quickly. Just you can go through these a little bit quicker. The other fight on this is on the Sphere card, but we got Shevchenko and Grasso's official now for the women's flyweight title. Who do you think takes that?
I think Alexa lost the last fight. I do believe that, but
Mhm.
I think she's gonna have a lot of momentum going on, especially with the Mexican Independence Day and then the arena and all that stuff. So I think I'm gonna go with Alexa on this one.
Big one in your division, Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling. Who do you see winning that fight?
Bro, I was talking to Aljamain after my fight. He was in the locker room, and I was telling him, I was like, bro, the only two ways I see this fight happening, it's literally either straight grappling or two striking. It's like a striking matchup the whole time, and
Mhm.
we always experience that in MMA. It's like when you put two grapples together, it becomes a striking match, and whoever wins that match kind of go. But I do think Aljamain have the advantage in jiu-jitsu though, so I really do believe that. And I think he's a little bit more experienced on the feet. I
Mhm.
think so. I'm gonna go with Aljo on this one.
And then just two more quick ones. Hamzat Chimaev is fighting Robert Whitaker. That fight was obviously scheduled before. Whitaker fights Ikram. He knocks him out. How do you think the fight goes with the rescheduled fight?
Bro, I think people sleeping on Whitaker, man. Whitaker is that guy that's always there. It's like he's always there, and he's good, man. He's
Mm.
really good. So I obviously coming in with a lot of heat and tension. So I'm gonna go with Whitaker. I'm gonna go with Whitaker.
I don't think that's a bad pick, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this as well. Like Chimaev's been able to sort of ragdoll the guys that he's fought, but he also hasn't finished some of those guys, including Gilbert Burns and Usman. Like I know Whitaker used to fight at welterweight, but he's been a mainstay at middleweight for so long. Like I just can't see Whitaker being the guy getting finished in the first round because that's pretty much how it goes, right? Like either Chimaev's going to destroy you in the first round, or it goes to a decision and it gets kind of dicey, right? Like Burns, that was a close fight. Usman made it close later in the fight. There's some thought that Chimaev, we've seen him slow down in the last couple fights, possibly because of that COVID he had a couple years ago. What do you think of that aspect of Whitaker just being pretty durable and also being like a mainstay middleweight? Like this is the first true test, I think, for Chimaev at 185 because Usman, I think we can all agree, was a welterweight.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the biggest thing is his movement. He's
Yeah.
super good at movement. Whitaker is not a stationary target. It's like it's hard to actually get in on Whitaker, and it's pretty awkward in his feet as well. It's not like simple 1 and 2s and stuff like that. Like he's pretty like challenging sometimes to understand what he's doing. So I think, like you said, it's gonna be a hard matchup coming in, especially he's making a home in that middleweight. Like his body frame is getting there. He's just like athleticism, his power, and everything is getting to that middleweight. So I think he has a lot of advantages coming into this fight. But obviously, you gotta survive that storm as well. So, and that's, I feel like, where the experience comes in handy in a fight.
Wanted to get your thoughts too on Bilal Muhammad winning the welterweight title. I believe, I could be wrong about this. Is he not the first Muslim UFC champion? I don't think there's been anyone else.
No,
Oh, sorry. Obviously Habib, but I mean, first one at 170 is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the first Muslim fighter.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of his performance though? Because obviously he was the underdog in that fight, and he went out there and he dominated Leon for the whole fight.
Bro, I was gassed out watching that fight. I was literally gassed out watching that fight. Are you kidding me? I was like, there's no way that man, like that cardio pace and like that pace is amazing, and I'm very happy for him, man. And I heard a lot of people, man, he's a very hardworking guy, man. Like he's nonstop working, being on a diet basically his whole life pretty much, and then like just staying ready and all the time and like preparing and working hard. So I'm very happy for him, man, and it's well deserved, and I can't wait to see what's next for him.
You ever think he's had any Ferrero Rochers before?
God, I'm like, I'll give him one next time I see him, bro.
There you go.
I'm like, what's up,
It's a
bro?
term of endearment. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, I heard you be on your diet all the time. Here, enjoy your life sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he indulges a little bit, but obviously, like I know when he's in camp, it's like all business, which makes sense. And then the other big performance as well, something that's kind of close to you, Umar Nurmagomedov defeating Corey Sandhagen. What did you think of that performance with Umar getting kind of that big signature win that's probably lining him up for a title shot?
Bro, that was what a technical fight that was. Like watching that just from a fighter IQ perspective, like wow, like that was amazing. And big shout out to like Corey too, by the way. Wow, bro. Like to do the thing and to take the fight that nobody wanted to take, the fight that makes no sense for him at all, to be honest. Like, why would you go down 7 spots or 8 spots? It's to fight the number 9 or whatever, which is crazy to me. And then to do what he did, that like I think you will see that kid a world champion. Like it was gonna take time, but props to Umar, man. I know a lot of people were talking about his cardio for 5 rounds and all this stuff, to be able to keep wrestling like that for 5 rounds and to keep staying at it for 5 rounds, that's pretty amazing, man. And like you said, like it really, that one decision changed his whole life pretty much. Like he'll be fighting for the belt next.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a question. I know Davison Figueiredo's out there as well too, but I think Umar with beating Corey the way he did, like you see Corey doesn't lose too often in that division. I know some of his losses, like even like Jan and Dillashaw, those were closer fights. Outside of maybe the Sterling loss, Sandhagen has actually done quite well in that weight class, so definitely interested with that. And I thought it was, and just what I loved about that fight too. I'm glad you brought up the Corey stuff, because like the takedown defense that he had, the fight IQ in that, I love watching fights like that where it's so high level that like someone's able to adjust. Like Umar's probably taken down most of the division, right? But Corey was able to, in a few of those exchanges, stuff the takedowns or at least keep upright, which is so cool to see. I think like it's like a chess match, you know?
I know, and a lot of people don't appreciate that. I feel like some fans would be like, oh, it's just a fucking boring fight, this, that. I'm like, bro, like, if you look at it at the high IQ level, you're like, wow, like, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. Like, that's a lot of work to get to that point. Like, I bet you, like, they worked a lot of wrestling just to get to the positions they were at. And then big props to Umar as well for him to, the wrestling didn't work. Okay, the striking to back to the wrestling and stuff like that. So like it's nonstop. And we can see now the difference, right? Like I feel like Khabib put it as a point of, okay, his grappling was better than everybody you can think of. But as soon as you go to like Islam and like Umar, they're more of a strikers than the actual grapplers, which is crazy to me. And like that's like, you're like, wow, like now you got to deal with the striking and the grappling, which is very dangerous in this sport. Obviously, if you're well-rounded, then big props to them, man. They're killing it, and they're doing their thing. So they're definitely staying out there.
Last question. What do you got planned the rest of the week? I know a lot of times, like when you're in camp, you kind of have to focus just on the fight, and maybe you put things to the side. Is it like getting to those like errands you couldn't get to before, or what do you got planned the rest of the week?
Pretty much, bro. Like the errands, and I feel like I didn't spend that much time with my family, so I kind of like spend a little bit of time with my family and my nieces. They're all growing up, and my nephews all growing up. So I feel like I'm missing a little bit on that. So I kind of like spend time in that, and then really just enjoy the time off a little bit. I feel like sometimes I rush in right away and be like, oh, get back to work, right? And kind of take my time and really have fun and enjoy the family, and then get back to work.
Is all your family in Colorado?
Yeah, except my mom. My mom is back in Morocco, and she just got approved for green card. So we were dealing with, a couple things. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what's like, there's some process still you got to get done for her to even come here. But yeah, that's the process.
I've seen 90 Day Fiance, so I know it's that reality show.
I love that movie, bro. I love that movie.
The TV show. Yeah. The reality show. I know it's a process to come over here and get like approved and your visa and all that stuff. So I can only imagine how difficult
it's a process. All right.
When was the last time you saw your mom?
About 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
Can't imagine that. My mom would. Yeah, I don't know. That would be tough. So
But before that, I didn't see her for 10 years.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
good. So she's gonna come. She's gonna move to Colorado then.
No,
Since she's
I think she's trying to come visit and see her my brother's graveyard. She hasn't seen my brother's graveyard for 14 years. She hasn't
wow.
seen him. She never seen him.
Damn.
So that's her goal. That's her dream. So that's what she wants to do.
And you're living your dream, man. Another great win this past weekend, UFC Fight Night, August 10th. Youssef, always appreciate the time, man. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
No, thank you, my man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And make sure to check out my YouTube channel, man. We had like a lot of back behind the scenes. We're gonna post a lot more of this upcoming week and next week about the game planning that we all did and all behind the scenes that we kept away, obviously for purpose reasons. So we don't give everything out right away and then have them work on a game plan. But we're gonna do all that stuff. So keep an eye on that. Shout out to my boy Eric for that. He's my videographer. He does all that stuff. And obviously thank you to my team and my family, man. I can't thank him enough. And all the fans out there for actually sticking in and believing in the process and in the journey. So I'm excited to see what's next. And thank you to everybody else, man. I really can't wait.